Ladies and gentlemen, Worldwide Sports presents America's super action sport, Worldwide Wrestling from around the globe. Now let's go ringside for all the action.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chuck Allen, your ring commentator for Worldwide Wrestling, recording live tonight, the beautiful Dayton's Hara Arena. Some tremendous matches lined up for you fans, so don't go away for the next hour. And without further delay, let's go to our ring announcer and Terry Sullivan.
Thank you, Chuck. This bout will be one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing, first of all, from Fremont, Ohio, weighing 245 pounds, Ohio's favorite son, Dandy Dan Miller. And his opponent, from Allen Park, Michigan, weighing 245 pounds, the fabulous Lou Kline.
Introductions, fans, have been made in the ring by ring announcer Terry Sullivan and tonight's referee, Jack Terry. You can see the glove that Dandy Dan Miller has on his right hand that he uses for his now famous arm claw hold. And of course, Kline, the man that's known as with the holds of over 1,001. Many, many holds. He knows how to get into and out of it. It appears as though Dandy Dan Miller knows a few of his own, and Lou Kline sets down. Nice crowd on hand at the Dayton's Hara Arena here in Dayton, Ohio. And as we said from the ring, fans, it's nice to have you with us wherever you may be. Call up a friend and tell them Worldwide Wrestling is on the air. Worldwide Wrestling, produced by Worldwide Sports Incorporated. And now into an arm lock by Dandy Dan Miller on Lou Kline. Lou just twists and spins, and he gets an arm lock of his own, and Dandy Dan Miller gets out of it beautifully. Worldwide Sports Incorporated also produces big-time wrestling. Tremendous action, fans. And in an effort to bring you some of the greatest wrestling matches, Worldwide Wrestling traveling the globe to get you the best bouts possible on your television screen. And Lou Kline gets a count of one on him by referee Jack Terry. A wrist lock by Dandy Dan Miller. And you can see that hand going white. Blood circulation has gone completely out of the hand of Lou Kline, and now twisting that wrist once again, a very painful hold. Lou Kline gets to his feet, twists around, and out of it. Dandy Dan Miller looks on like what happened to the hold. Headlock by Dandy Dan Miller. Wise pressure. Lou Kline's trying to get out of it. Thinking about it for a moment. And Dandy Dan Miller hangs on tight. And sets down and has him in leg scissors now. Lou Kline taking care of Dandy Dan Miller, getting out of that headlock beautifully. Now Dandy Dan, and Lou Kline gets another count of one on him. A couple of times now he's had those shoulders on the mat. Count of two. Into a Boston Crab now by Dandy Dan Miller on Lou Kline. This is a submission hold. And let's see if Lou Kline can hang on. A submission hold by Dandy Dan Miller. This is the Boston Crab. Very painful. Jack Terry asking Lou Kline if he wants to give it up. Beautiful. With the strength of Lou Kline. Moves Dandy Dan Miller away from that Boston Crab. Dandy Dan Miller as yet has not been able to put on that arm claw hold that has been so effective for him in the past. Arm lock. Dandy Dan gets out of it. Both of these competitors have a lot of respect for one another, and you can tell that the way they're wrestling. Full Nelson by Dandy Dan. I've seen Luke Kline get out a few of these, too. Let's see how he does it this time. And continuing to hang on to that full Nelson, Dandy Dan Miller, Luke Kline puts his hands underneath his thighs. Let's see what he does. And it's slipping the hands of Dandy Dan Miller off the neck, and he takes him down into a wrist arm lock. Luke Kline getting out of that full Nelson beautifully. Sheer strength. Now into the bridge, Dandy Dan Miller trying to get out of that arm wrist lock that Luke Kline has so beautifully. And look at this, a reversal. An arm lock now by Dandy Dan Miller. Arm lock, Luke Kline spinning. What a beautiful scientific match, fans, you're seeing between Luke Kline and Dandy Dan Miller. Both of these contestants with a lot of respect for one another, and we're going to have to break for this commercial message. Don't you dare go away. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you took my advice last week and phoned this number 9619557, made those reservations for the Cobo Arena, because action gets underway this Saturday night, February the 24th, and action at 8 p.m. The United States heavyweight wrestling champion, the Sheik, will be meeting the world heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr. Both have put their titles up in this fight. The winner will walk away with both championships. Don't you dare miss it. This Saturday night at the Cobo Arena, action time 8 p.m. Bobo Brazil and Tony Marino will be stepping into the ring against the eighth wonder of the world, Pompero Firpo, and his partner will be Killer Brooks. Of course, Eddie Creechman, the manager, will be at ringside. And then for the world's tag team title, the champions Von Schatz and Von Hess will be meeting Flying Fred Curry and Arriba Luis Martinez. So don't you dare miss this one either. And then, fans, for the first time in the history at the Cobo this Saturday night, February the 24th, 4 midgets and 4 big girls in mixed tag team competition, plus a host of other stars. So don't you dare miss it. This Saturday night at the Cobo Arena. Fans, this main event will also be, for the first time in the history of worldwide wrestling at the Cobo Arena, the United States champion, the Sheik, meets the world champion, Dory Funk Jr. Both have put their titles on the line. The winner will walk away with both championships. And as far as I know, that's the first time it's ever happened in all of wrestling. No one person has held both titles at the same time. The world's title and also the United States heavyweight championship title. So fans, it's certainly going to be one night of worldwide wrestling that you will not want to miss right here in the Motor City Cobo Arena this Saturday night, February 24th at 8 p.m. And now, if you haven't done so, and we hope you have, phone this number 9619557, make those reservations to get a seat at the Cobo. Luke Kline has Dandy Dan Miller set up for an airplane spin. Let's see what he does with it. Scientific match by 2 competitors here, Luke Kline and Dandy Dan Miller. Luke Kline simply sets him on that top turnbuckle and gives him a pat. And Dandy Dan Miller comes down. Luke Kline had Miller in position for an airplane spin. Headlock now by Dandy Dan. Jack Terry looking on to make sure it does not go into a chokehold. Wrist lock. Up against the ropes, and both set down. And now both showing each other that they have a hold to outdo the other ones. Or if they can get in a hold, they can certainly get out of it as quickly. Headlock by Dandy Dan Miller once again on Luke Kline. Still, Dandy Dan has been unable to use his arm claw hold, which is a devastating submission hold. It's a nerve hold that paralyzes the opponent. And he's won many matches. Luke Kline simply sticks an elbow into the midsection. Dandy Dan Miller breaks a headlock. Luke Kline now with a headlock of his own. Dandy getting down on his knees. Spins out of the headlock into an arm wrist lock now. Up against the ropes. A bear hug. Referee Jack Terry will break it up as Luke Kline was up against those ropes. Once again, a reverse headlock by Dandy Dan Miller. Jack Terry has not had to be too active in this bout, as both have been breaking their own holds, getting into other holes. Luke Kline simply wraps his arm around that top rope. Takedown. Dandy Dan Miller gets away from it, ready for action once again. For the opening bout on Worldwide Wrestling, you're seeing a very scientific match. Two competitors using some tremendous holds. Headlock up against the ropes, and now the crisscross. And Luke Kline gets down. Dandy Dan Miller was ready for that one. Just simply steps behind him, and they both look at one another. And so far, it's been a standoff. Wrist lock once again by Dandy Dan Miller on Luke Kline. Dandy Dan now with his wrist lock on Luke Kline. Luke Kline trying to work out of it. So far it's a standoff. I think Dandy Dan Miller has the biggest majority of the leverage, however. As if Dandy Dan pulled up too much more, it could put Luke Kline right on his head. Look at this. Luke Kline simply sticks his head underneath the elbow and comes right out of it. Headlock, takedown by Dandy Dan Miller. And ladies and gentlemen, very shortly in this program, we've told you that you're going to see some tremendous action. The United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Sheik, will be on your television screen within the next hour. So you be sure and be watching for that. Up against the ropes, it comes off. Luke Kline on his back. Dandy Dan Miller. Flying headlock. One. Luke Kline gets a count of one on him once again. 1, 2. Luke Kline. 1. Dandy Dan Miller with that headlock on Luke Kline. And Luke Kline on his back, unable to get out from this one. 1, 2. He got a count of 2 on him once again. Dandy Dan Miller has almost had this victory a couple of times now, with Luke Kline getting counts of 2 on him. And now, that headlock continues to be held by Dandy Dan Miller. Luke Kline tries to get out of it. And Dandy Dan just simply applies a little more twisting pressure now. And this is the way that the wrestlers get their cauliflower ears. And Luke Kline is weakening. You can see his arms fledging around there. And ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been something else. Off the ropes once again, Kline on his back. Dandy is ready for him. Takedown once again with that headlock. Luke Kline had a count of 1. And still Dandy Dan Miller hanging onto that headlock. Dandy Dan Miller hanging onto that headlock of Luke Kline. 1. Luke Kline gets a count of 1 on him. Headlock still applied by Dandy Dan Miller. Luke Kline gets up. And now Luke Kline with the head scissors just briefly. Flying headlock once again. Leg scissors. Headlock again by Dandy Dan. Leg scissors. And it's a seesaw battle back and forth. Back and forth. Headlock by Dandy Dan Miller on Luke Kline. And Luke Kline simply picks him up. And oh, look at this. Luke Kline falling backwards. He's on his back. So is Dandy Dan Miller. Referee Jack Terry putting it in the count. Both are on the mat. Both getting up very slowly. Luke Kline and Dandy Dan Miller. And now, Dandy Dan Miller on the mat. Look out, they're all in the ropes. This has been some battle, ladies and gentlemen. Battle of strength, scientific wrestling. Now they're both trying to pick each other up. That hasn't worked effectively. Against the ropes, up. Dandy Dan Miller goes flat back. 1, 2, 3. Luke Kline was caught with his shoulders on the mat. Let's go to our ring announcer and Terry Sullivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 11 minutes, 15 seconds, the winner, Dandy Dan Miller.
Arriba, Luis Martinez, this Saturday night, Flying Fred Curry, you've beat them once. Now the championship is at stake, the world's title.
What was the key? We beat them once.
That's
and
right.
We're going to beat them again. This Saturday night is for the championship, is for the title. And we're going to win it, right, Louie? Together.
Together. We're a team. We're going to show you we're a team, and we're going to do it. Because, you know why we're going to do it? Because you're behind us, and we want you behind us all the way until it's over. I'm getting excited. I don't want to get excited, but just come down and see it. Don't just hear about it. Come and see it, because this is one of the greatest cards ever, and I'm glad to be on it. And I'm glad that I've got the greatest partner in the world, Fred Curry. Arriba, Fred Curry. Arriba, Luis Martinez. Y quiero ver a todos mis paisanos. Arriba la raza.
You know what the key is, Chuck? Those people out there. This Saturday night, they've been behind us. Okay, we're going to give them the title, the World Tag Team title, between us, right, Louie?
Right. 100% behind you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't at the Cobo last time, this team, Arriba Luis Martinez and Flying Fred Curry,
We beat 'em
are
once.
absolutely fantastic. They beat the world title holders, Von Schatz and Von Hessen. Believe you me, they're scared, Freddie. They're scared.
Well, this Saturday night is going to be for the title. It's legal. They want it that way. We're going to have the championship between us, and like we said, we're going to give it out to those people because they deserve it. They're behind us 100%. That's why we give them 110% of our effort when we're out there.
And Louis Martinez, you say it much better than I. There's one key word that I know that you like to hear from the fans.
Just do me one favor. Arriba, 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 arriba all night long, and watch them Germans. They'll run just on that word alone.
What's the
Cobo
word,
Hall,
Chuck?
Arriba, Cobo Hall, Saturday night.
What's
this
the word?
Saturday night.
Arriba!
Arriba!
Fans, you be there, 8 o'clock, 961-9557. Phone that number, get a ringside seat, be there. It's got to be a great night. Cobo Hall, this Saturday night. What is it? Arriba!
This Saturday night.
This match, ladies and gentlemen, will be one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing, first of all, from Johannesburg, South Africa, weighing 287 pounds, the magnificent Zulu. And his opponent, from Toledo, Ohio, weighing 250 pounds, Porky the Pig.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Porky Pig does not like his name. This is a name that he's been unable to live down for several years now. Wrestling from Toledo, Ohio. Mentioning the name Porky Pig, it certainly makes him very irate. And he's having a few words with referee Jack Terry. Porky Pig meets the magnificent Zulu. Zulu, for as big as he is very mild, very quiet, quite reserved, unless he's angered. Porky Pig has a way of angering a lot of his opponents. And look at this! The bell hasn't even sounded yet, and he's attacking the magnificent Zulu. Twisting that cape around his neck. Magnificent Zulu was unable to remove his cape. The bell now has been asked for. And Porky Pig with the magnificent Zulu draped across that top rope, applying pressure to the throat. And the referee, Jack Terry, is counting Porky Pig, telling him to break it up. And now Jack Terry trying to take that cape away from the magnificent Zulu, and he succeeds. Zulu's head being thrown into that top turnbuckle now by Porky Pig. Zulu, a big, big man. And the pig now goes to work on him with his now famous headbutt and his shoulder move. Look at this. Look at his head going down on the midsection of the magnificent Zulu and pounding on the midsection of the magnificent Zulu, who has yet been unable to present an attack against this vicious wrestler, Porky Pig. Porky Pig now with Zulu's head underneath that bottom rope, and the referee is telling him to bring Zulu back into the ring. An elbow smash, and now once again using his head. And and he hit his head right on the top of Zulu's head, and look at this Porky Pig pounded the body of the magnificent Zulu. This where he gets his name, Porky Pig. Also the fact that he had a little pig with him at ringside a few years ago. And now with that nerve grip, Porky Pig applying pressure to the shoulder of the magnificent Zulu. Porky Pig is very strong, fans. He weighs 255 pounds. He is a vicious wrestler, there's no doubt about that. And his opponents have a lot of respect for him. Very seldom does Porky Pig wear shoes into the ring, as you can see. He is barefooted. He uses his feet. And now Zulu punches Pig in the midsection. Porky Pig continuing to hang on to that nerve hold, and Zulu come hard with a punch right into the midsection. And now Porky Pig draped across ropes above our microphone, and Zulu is really letting him have an arm drag. Porky Pig hitting that top turnbuckle hard, another arm drag by the Zulu. And look out! Takedown! Another takedown! Porky Pig being thrown around the ring at will by this magnificent Zulu, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, Porky Pig very upset. The magnificent Zulu had a couple of vicious right hooks to the chin of Porky Pig. And then some arm drag sent Porky Pig on the floor. And ladies and gentlemen, the magnificent Zulu is ready for action. Porky Pig now crawls into the ring. Whoops, he comes back out again. Now he's once again venturing into the ring against the magnificent Zulu. He's on all fours. He's on all fours. Porky Pig stalking his opponent. A very unorthodox way of wrestling, I must say indeed. But this style of wrestling has instilled quite a bit of fear in his opponents. Porky Pig now making contact with the magnificent Zulu, and he gets into the eyes. Oh, and he put a couple of fingers right into the eyes of Zulu, blinding Zulu for a moment, and I'm sure the camera picked up that shot. Porky Pig draping Zulu's head right above our microphone on that top rope, pounding on his back with those forearm smashes. And Zulu now being weakened by these forearm smashes of Porky Pig, and now with a headbutt once again. Porky Pig throwing that hand into the throat of the magnificent Zulu. Look out, Zulu has him against the ropes. An arm drag into the ropes. Oh, and come hard with that right punch right into the midsection. And Porky Pig goes to the mat. And Zulu is ready to box. Porky Pig now asking for a little mercy from the magnificent Zulu, who doesn't give any. Couple of right punches into the chest. An arm drag against into the ropes. Up and over. Porky Pig on his back in the ring. And now covered by Zulu. 1. And Porky Pig drapes that leg over the bottom rope. Fans, we have to break for this message. Back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday night, right here in the Motor City at the Cobo Arena, Dory Funk Jr. standing to my right. Dory is holding his championship, the world's title. And Dory, you've put this championship up against the United States champion, the Sheik. That has to be something else.
Well, Chuck, I've traveled the world over defending this World Heavyweight Championship belt. Every place that I go, in the United States, Canada, Mexico, all over the world, the big question that people are asking me, when are you going to wrestle a Sheik? When are you going to wrestle a Sheik for the World's Heavyweight Championship? Well, last time I was at Cobo Arena, the chance came up. They issued the challenge. I was more than happy to accept. But this time, not only the World Heavyweight Championship belt is going to be on the line, the Sheik is putting the United States Heavyweight Championship belt on the line. It'll be winner take all. The man that wins the match walks out of the ring, 2 belts around his waist. It'll be a tremendous match. It'll be a great match. I know what to expect from the Sheik. I've watched him wrestle all over the world. I know what his tactics are. I know he's the most dangerous man in professional wrestling. I know he'll do anything to win a match, whether it involves fire or whatever he can fight with. When you go in the ring with the Sheik, you've got to admit one thing. You're going in the ring with a man who's going to fight you. One way or another, he'll do anything to win a match. Now, let me back up a little bit. I've been around the Sheik before quite some time ago back home in my home state, Texas. And some of the wildest matches ever seen in professional wrestling have involved the Sheik, myself, my brother Terry, and my father. We call ourselves the Fighting Funk family. We've never backed up from a challenge. And last time at the Cobo Arena, when the challenge came up, I was more than happy to accept. It'll be a great night at the Cobo Arena. It's my pleasure to appear at the Cobo Arena, and it should be a great wrestling match.
Lots of luck to you, Dory fans, this Saturday night. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the magnificent Zulu and Porky Pig have been fighting it out on their knees. Magnificent Zulu punching at the chest of Porky Pig, into the stomach again. Porky Pig bending over. The magnificent Zulu come across hard then with that elbow. 1, 2, Porky Pig almost had a count out. Now Pig sticking his fingers into the eyes of the magnificent Zulu, and now raising the toes into the eyes of Zulu. Once again, the toes into the eyes of Zulu. Zulu on his back. A vicious, unorthodox wrestler in this Porky Pig, fans, and there's not really much more than that than we can say. Now putting that foot on the throat of the magnificent Zulu, getting leverage from that top rope. Porky Pig now bringing the head of Zulu up underneath that bottom rope and applying pressure. Referee Jack Terry putting in the count on Porky Pig. And ladies and gentlemen, we are recording live tonight at the Dayton's Hara Arena, Dayton, Ohio. And fans, very shortly, you're going to see the United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Sheik, in this ring. So don't you dare go away. And he just picks Porky Pig up and throws him off. And look at that chop to the face by the foot of Porky Pig. 1. Once again, Zulu gets a count of 2. Oh, and he come across hard, Zulu did, with that right hook. Once again, and look at this! Porky Pig was sent flying over that top rope onto the floor of Dayton's Hara Arena. Magnificent Zulu with a right punch to the chin sent Porky Pig over that top rope and onto the floor. Once again, Porky Pig moves very slowly to get back into the ring. The magnificent Zulu, a very huge man. about 6, 7, or 8. Close to 300 pounds. Takedown by Zulu. Another one. And Porky Pig goes to the ropes. But even with the size of Zulu, Porky Pig has been doing a pretty good job against this big man. And now, another block by Porky Pig on Zulu. And he's choking on the blind side of referee Jack Terry. And Jack Terry does not see this choke that Porky Pig has applied on Zulu. And now he sees it. Porky Pig using the hair to pick up Zulu. And now, with that nerve hold applied by Porky Pig to Zulu, a nerve hold still applied by Porky Pig on Zulu. And Zulu on his knees. Referee Jack Terry standing right there to make sure that it does not go into a chokehold, which of course is an illegal maneuver. And now, Porky Pig sticking that knee right into the small of the back. And coming down hard on the chest, and it puts Zulu on the mat. And the referee once again giving Porky Pig the count of 3. You can see why Porky Pig does not wear any shoes into the ring, as he uses his feet almost as much as he does his hands. He's kicked at him, slapped his face with his feet, stuck the toes into the eyes of Zulu, just about everything. Zulu has been hurt now by that nerve hold that Porky Pig had on him. And look at this, Zulu comes with a right, another one. And that one was right on the button. There was another one. And Porky Pig still on his feet, on a knee lift. Look at this, Zulu picks Porky Pig up and slams him on the mat. And now, Zulu on 1. Porky Pig kicks out from underneath it. He had a count of 1 on him, and Porky Pig sticks his fingers into the eyes of Zulu, temporarily blinding him. Oh, and he come across hard with a right underneath the chin. Another one, an elbow right at the throat. 1, 2. Porky Pig kicks out. He had a count of 2 on him, however. And there with a headbutt. Once again, Porky Pig using his head on the body of the magnificent Zulu. 1, 2, 3. Let's see the action of the referee on that, I believe. No, it was not a count out. And once again, the magnificent Zulu very groggy now. And Porky Pig continues to slap away at Zulu. Zulu now coming back. An arm drag. Porky Pig hard against the turnbuckles right above our microphone. And now Zulu raking at the eyes of Porky Pig. Another arm drag into the ropes this time. Up and over. Whoa, and Porky Pig landing hard on his back. 1. Whoops. Porky Pig with his leg draped over that bottom rope. Zulu just simply puts it back into the ring. And the bell has been rung. Let's go to our ring announcer and Terry Sullivan to get the decision of this bout as the fight continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time limit has completely expired. The referee, Jack Terry, calls this bout a draw.
Well, fans, this Saturday night, this is the night that I know Bobo Brazil has been waiting for, and also Tony Marino, when you step into the ring against two of the wildest, and that's, of course, the eighth wonder of the world, Palm Pearl, Firpo, and Killer Brooks.
But Chuck, you know I have battled these two men too many times, Killer Brooks and Firpo. And I had trouble with both men. If I'm wrestling Brooks, Firpo come in. If I'm wrestling Firpo, Brooks come in. The same thing with the Sheik. Whoever I'm wrestling, someone always come in. So I'm fed up to hear. Matter of fact, I'm speechless for words. Tony Marino, he gonna do my talking tonight. I'm not gonna say a word.
All right, Bobo. Tony, I know how you feel about this bout this Saturday night.
Well, Chuck, maybe I can do Bobo's talking, but I'm sure that I'm not going to be able to do his wrestling come that night. Because I'll tell you what, when Bobo says he's fed up to here, he is. And I think he's going to let it all out against Firpo and Brooks. And the beautiful thing about that is that Cobo Arena, we're going to be facing these two in the ring. There's not going to be any worry about anybody coming out of the back shades or out of the curtains or wherever they may be hiding. It's going to be right there in front of us. And you know what? I can't wait until that night. Believe me, it's, you know, and Bobo was my partner, too. It's just going to be fantastic.
Well, this Saturday night's the night, fans, and all the action gets underway at 8 o'clock, and don't you dare miss it. Now, phone the number, 961-9557. Tony, Bobo, you both know it's been a sellout the last 4 shows, so get that ticket. Get there. Be there this Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout will be one fall with a 45-minute time limit. Introducing, first of all, from Dayton, Ohio, weighing 225 pounds, Apollo Lane. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, from Syria, weighing 240 pounds, the United States heavyweight champion, the Sheik. He is accompanied by his manager, the Brain, Eddie Creechman.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest wrestler ever to enter a ring at any auditorium in any place in the world is now in this ring right here at Dayton's Hair Arena, Dayton, Ohio. The United States heavyweight wrestling champion, the Sheik. Will be meeting Apollo Lane. Eddie Creechman has been given permission by the Weasel to be in the ring with the champion, the Sheik. Eddie Creechman speaks Yiddish very fluently, as well as Arabic, and he is able to communicate with the champion, the Sheik. And you can see the Sheik making his prayers to Allah, and he is now ready for action. The rug is taken out of the ring, the bell sounds. The champion, the Sheik, now will meet Lane. Lane, a very young athlete, and he has his chance now to fight the champion the best he can. The champion, a real veteran, and as we said from the outset, the greatest wrestler ever to enter a wrestling ring in any arena. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing the legend, the Sheik. Right above our microphone now, the Sheik has put some foreign object underneath the throat of Apollo Lane, and now he sticks it away in his shoe and throws Lane out of the ring through that second rope onto the floor. Much to the delight of Eddie Creechman, who is at ringside tonight at the request of the Weasel. Apollo Lane now trying to find somewhere to come back into the ring. Sheik helps him along a little bit. pulling the hair, brings him into the arena. Now right against the ropes above our microphone, the Sheik starts to fight at the eye of the Apollo Lane. And referee Jack Terry now is trying to say something to this great champion, the Sheik. Ladies and gentlemen, we've said many times you may not like the tactics, you don't like the methods, the way this man wrestles, but he has won literally hundreds of matches throughout the world, and his record speaks for itself. And ladies and gentlemen, the Sheik is working on Apollo Lane, who is a newcomer, there's no doubt about that. And this is not a championship fight. Pounding now at the back, and now in the famous camel clutch. The Sheik goes into the camel clutch. This is a submission hold. Apollo Lane is asking for this match to be over already. I'm sure of that. This is a submission hold, the camel clutch. The champion, the Sheik, holding the camel clutch. Apollo Lane is out, the bell sounds. The hand has been raised. The United States champion, the Sheik, victorious once again. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our ring announcer now, and Terry Sullivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. The winner is the United States heavyweight champion, the Sheik. This match will be one fall with a 30-minute time limit. And introducing, first of all, from Morgan's Corner, Arkansas, weighing 625 pounds, Haystacks Calhoun. And his opponent, from Japan, weighing 225 pounds, the great Kabuki.
Japanese star Kabuki introduced into the ring. And Dandy Dan Miller is out here at ringside. And let's see what the reason for Dandy Dan Miller's entrance is.
I want to be right here in Haystack Calhoun's corner. I've watched this Kabuki, what he's doing. I'm going to be right in your corner, Stash. Be right in your corner.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard Dandy Dan Miller talking about being in the corner of Haystack Calhoun and watching the progress of this match. Apparently, there has been some discontent between Dandy Dan Miller and the Japanese star Kabuki. And Dandy Dan Miller is sitting right at the corner of Haystack Calhoun. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see that when Haystack Calhoun came into the ring, he wore his good luck charm, the horseshoe. He always wears it wherever he goes, and it certainly brings him a lot of luck. And Haystack Calhoun having a few words now with Dandy Dan as the Japanese star Kabuki will go through his ritual. And fans, while the Japanese star Kabuki is going through his ritual, let's talk a moment with Lou Kline. And Lou, always nice to have you at our ringside microphone here on Worldwide Wrestling and talking about this great sport.
Thank you, Chuck. Now, any organization, charitable or otherwise, you high schools, you junior high schools, your fairs, anybody looking for a way to make money, this Worldwide Sports has one of the greatest opportunity if you act right now. Now, Worldwide Sports will bring to your community a complete wrestling show. As far as I say, complete wrestling show, all you have to have is a place to hold it and a few good ticket sellers, and all these stars you are now witnessing on TV and on your screen will appear in your hometown. You are the sponsor of the show. All you have to do to have these TV wrestling stars come to your town is call. The area code is 313. The telephone number is 381. or else you can write to Box 100, Allen Park, Michigan. Write to Worldwide Sports at Box 100, Allen Park, Michigan, and we will send you complete details on how you can sponsor a wrestling show in your community. And thank you, Chuck.
Thank you very much, Lou Kline. And fans, you contact Lou Kline now and bring this great sport of wrestling to your town. It's always exciting, and you can tell by the way the fans have reacted here tonight to Worldwide Wrestling. And the great Japanese star continuing now to go through his ritual. Dandy Dan Miller is sitting in the corner over there by Haystack Calhoun. They've had a few words about this upcoming match, and now once again Dandy Dan is asking to talk with Haystacks, and they're carrying on quite a conversation over there. And Kabuki continuing to go through his ritual. And ladies and gentlemen, the referee now is asking the great Kabuki about this black brace, apparently, that is around the back of Kabuki's neck. And Kabuki is trying to argue his way out of that. And you can see Dandy Dan Miller motioning with that arm claw hold of his. And Dandy Dan has now become a great rooter here at ringside for Haystack Calhoun as he watches every move. And look out, Kabuki throws a couple of foot chops into the midsection of Haystack Calhoun. Oh, and Stacks rears back. Kabuki hangs onto the hair and chops him right at the top of the head. Kabuki now having Haystacks Calhoun at a disadvantage. And Calhoun comes down hard with a right across the midsection and chest of Kabuki, who's now trying to get out of the way. And he throws some feet into the midsection of Calhoun, and he just stands there and says, go ahead. Kabuki, of course, so much smaller than Haystack Calhoun. And he's now trying to get it. He does. He crawls underneath the ropes and out on the floor. And Dandy Dan Miller now is telling Kabuki to get back in the ring. Look out. Kabuki now squaring off against Dandy Dan Miller. Dandy Dan having a few words to say to Kabuki, who is now making his way back into the ring. Referee Jack Terry putting the count now on Kabuki. Haystack Calhoun is ready to fight. Kabuki continues to run around the ring. Calhoun with his fist now ready to fight. And Kabuki now throwing some chops into the top of the head of Haystack Calhoun. Once again, a heavy forearm smash. Kabuki crawls out of the ring and back on the floor. Kabuki having a few words now with Dandy Dan Miller, who's telling Kabuki to get back into the ring. Referee Jack Terry continues to count. Dandy Dan Miller asks Kabuki if he wants to throw him back in the ring. And now Kabuki gets on the apron, tells the referee to keep Stacks back. And Stacks merely doubled up his fist, and Kabuki went right back on the apron again. And just a moment, Haystack Calhoun has those fists doubled up, and Kabuki wants this action stopped. Look at this, Calhoun throws him across the ring. Kabuki once again onto the floor. Dandy Dan Miller leading the cheering section for Haystacks Calhoun. Ladies and gentlemen, Kabuki now getting back into the ring very slowly. And Dandy Dan Miller, it looks as though Kabuki doesn't want to wrestle him for the moment.
Well, he's certainly met his match right here. You see him running outside the ring, trying to keep away from Haystack Calhoun's attack. Well, believe me one thing, before this night's over with, Kabuki is going to be shown exactly how big and how strong Haystack Calhoun is.
Thank you very much, Dandy Dan Miller, who is leading the cheering section for Haystack Calhoun with a bear hug on Kabuki. Kabuki came across the forehead tight. And Haystacks Calhoun just merely pouncing at the head, and Kabuki goes through that second rope onto the apron. And look out, 625 pounds sitting on the stomach of the Japanese star Kabuki. Kabuki now trying to get to his feet very slowly. And look out now, we're going to have the shuffle by Haystack Calhoun on Kabuki. That's cauliflower ears. And Kabuki crawls out on the apron once again. And Jack Terry, the referee, trying to keep Haystack Calhoun back away from Kabuki. Now Haystack Calhoun wants Kabuki away from the ropes so he can wrestle. Look out, 625 pounds stepping on the feet of Kabuki. Twisting the arm, getting that wrist lock now. Kabuki hangs onto that top rope. Referee Jack Terry simply kicks his hand off the rope. A wrist lock. Standing wrist lock now by Haystack Calhoun on Kabuki. Standing wrist lock by Haystack Calhoun puts Kabuki on the mat. A beautiful hold by Calhoun. And with the leverage, there's a lot of playing applied. And now Kabuki crawls underneath the second rope, and Haystack Calhoun had to break it up. Kabuki now has been put into a lot of pain by this big man. Kabuki now with his chops to the head puts Haystack Calhoun to one knee. Now with a nerve hold. Haystack Calhoun on all fours. Calhoun on all fours now with that nerve hold applied by Kabuki. Calhoun pounding at the feet of Kabuki with his fist. Look at this. And Kabuki's feet are being pounded by Haystack Calhoun, who gets up and stomps on it. 625 pounds on the arch and the toe of Kabuki. And Haystack comes across hard with that elbow on the forehead of Kabuki. And once again, Kabuki puts that arm out on the apron. Kabuki trying to get to his feet very slowly in the meantime, asking Haystack Calhoun to back away. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Worldwide Wrestling, produced by Worldwide Sports Incorporated, recorded live tonight at the beautiful Dayton's Hair Arena, Dayton, Ohio. It's a pleasure traveling with Worldwide Sports in an effort to bring you the greatest wrestling matches, in an effort to let you see such great wrestling champions as the United States Heavyweight Champion, the Sheik, as you just saw, Haystack Calhoun, Dandy Dan Miller, and many more. And now, the Japanese star pounding at will at the head of Haystack Calhoun. Haystack Calhoun going down on one knee. And Kabuki pounding with those judo chops at the head. And Calhoun comes back hard with that right elbow smash again. Throws him into the turnbuckle. 625 pounds now against the Japanese star Kabuki. And now Calhoun pounding hard on the head of Kabuki, who's on his knees in the corner. And now Kabuki going into the eyes of Haystack Calhoun, who's on his knee. Here comes Dandy Dan Miller in the ring. Dandy Dan Miller comes in to tell Haystack Calhoun about pulling something out of the back of his harness that he has on his neck. Let's see what happens. It appears as though. It appears as though. It appears as though Jack Terry has given the match to Haystack Calhoun. Let's put our ring announcer.
13 minutes, the referee has disqualified the ring Kabuki. Haystack Calhoun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see all of the great action that has been occurring here in this ring at the beautiful Dayton's Hair Arena. And ladies and gentlemen, Dandy Dan Miller was at ringside leading the cheers for Haystack Calhoun, which, ladies and gentlemen, Haystack Calhoun was given the match by the referee Jack Terry. What a tremendous night. Fans, we've been recording live at the Dayton's Hair Arena, Dayton, Ohio, and it's been nice to have you with us. And we'll see you all next week, same time, same station. You be sure and call a friend and tell them Worldwide Wrestling is on the air. We'll see you all next week.